The Grand Plaza Hotel's ballrooms sparkled with elegant decorations, crystal chandeliers casting a warm glow over the perfectly arranged tables. My sister Victoria's wedding was exactly what you'd expect from a senior investment banker marrying a tech venture capitalist, excessive, showy, and designed to remind everyone of their success. I adjusted my simple navy dress, checking my phone again. The notification from my COO remained unchanged. Final paperwork signed. Announcement in 45 minutes. Oh, Sophia, you're here. Mom's voice dripped with familiar disappointment. She glanced at my dress, likely noting it wasn't designer. The staff entrance is actually around back. I'm not staff, Mom. I'm Victoria's sister. Could have fooled me. Victoria swept in, resplendent in her $50,000 wedding gown. What are you wearing? Last season's department store clearance. I touched my dress. Handmade by an emerging designer I'd recently invested in. Not that they'd care. Let's discuss seating. Mom pulled out her tablet. Sophia, given your current situation, we thought it best to place you in the kitchen area. The kitchen. Kept my voice steady. Well, we have CEOs, venture capitalists, and tech leaders at the main tables, Victoria explained with fake sympathy. We can't have you embarrassing us with stories about your little, what are you calling it? My technology company, I said. Right, your startup, she air quoted. Still working from your apartment? If only they knew about my 30-story office building downtown. The helps table suits you, Victoria smirked, adjusting her veil. Maybe you'll pick up some catering contacts for your next failed venture. Dad approached, champagne in hand. Victoria, the Thompson Group CEO, wants photos. Coming. He flounced away, then turned back. Oh, Sophia, try not to mention we're related. I have investors here. I checked my phone again. 30 minutes until the announcement. At the kitchen table, I had a perfect view of the service bar, and its mounted TV tuned to financial news. The catering staff treated me better than my family, occasionally sliding me premium appetizers with sympathetic smiles. Another startup failure? The bartender asked, noticing me watching the business news. Something like that, I smiled, knowing what was coming. Victoria's new husband Brad was giving a speech about success and family legacy. In this room we have the brightest minds in tech, the future leaders of innovation. My phone buzzed. Message from my COO. Ready when you are, boss. I glanced at the TV. The financial ticker scrolled steadily. And while some people waste time on small dreams, Victoria was saying, looking pointedly at my kitchen table, others like us build real success. The TV anchor's voice cut through. Breaking news in the tech world. A few heads turned toward the bar's TV. Brad paused his speech. In a stunning development, revolutionary AI company Neurotech has been acquired for $4.2 billion by Silicon Valley giant MaxTech. The room grew quieter. I saw Brad's face change. He'd been trying to get a meeting with MaxTech for months. The deal, led by Neurotech's founder and CEO. My company photo filled the screen. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. Sophia Martinez has disrupted the AI industry with groundbreaking neural interface technology. The silence was deafening. Victoria stood frozen mid-speech, her champagne glass tilted dangerously. Sophia. Brad's voice cracked. That's your company? I stood up from the kitchen table, smoothing my navy dress. Yes, that's my little startup. The one I've been wasting time on. But you work from your apartment. Mom stammered. No, I corrected. I live in the penthouse apartment of my company's building. The one Dad's real estate firm tried to buy last month. Remember declining that meeting with the owner? Dad's face went pale. He dismissed the mysterious tech owner as another lucky startup kid. My phone rang. MaxTech's CEO. Excuse me, I said. I need to take this call from my new board. Victoria, congratulations on your wedding. The kitchen staff has been lovely. As I walked toward the exit, the TV continued. The acquisition marks the largest AI deal of the year, with Sophia Martinez remaining as CEO of the new division. Wait. Victoria called out. You can't just leave. These are all tech investors. They'll want to talk to you. I turned back, seeing the room full of people who'd ignored me all evening now staring with desperate interest. I'm sorry, I said, but I have a dinner meeting with MaxTech's executive team. We're discussing the future of neural interface technology. You understand, right? Important people, real success. The elevator doors opened. My driver waited with a familiar silver briefcase, the prototype that had just sold for billions. Behind me, I heard Brad's best man whisper, "That's Sophia Martinez? The neural queen." The hotel's executive lounge was a stark contrast to the wedding chaos below. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I watched the city skyline. My city in many ways. The Neurotech building stood prominently among the towers, its distinctive architecture a testament to my vision. "Ms. Martinez?" The hotel manager appeared, flustered. "Your family is quite insistent on speaking with you, and there are several wedding guests requesting private meetings." "I bet they are," I murmured, checking my phone. 16 missed calls from Victoria, 28 from Mom, and countless messages from wedding guests who'd suddenly remembered my existence. My CEO's message flashed, "Stock price up 180% post-announcement. Your net worth just hit $3.8 billion. The lounge door burst open. Victoria stormed in, wedding dress rustling, followed by Brad, Mom, and Dad. "How could you do this to me?" Victoria's voice shook. "It's my wedding day." I raised an eyebrow. "Do what? Take a business call?" "I thought that's what important people do. You let them seat you in the kitchen." Brad interjected. "Why didn't you tell me you were the Sophia Martinez? I've been trying to get a meeting with MaxTech for months." "Would it have changed how you treated me?" I asked calmly. "Or would I still be Victoria's embarrassing little sister with the failing startup?" Mom collapsed onto a leather chair. "All this time, when you said you were working on neural interface technology, you said, and I quote, 'Stop playing with computers and get a real job like your sister,'" I finished. "Remember that dinner last Christmas?" Dad stepped forward, his real estate developer instincts kicking in. "Sweetheart, let's discuss this reasonably. That building downtown, perhaps we could partner." I cut him off. "Like when I tried to partner with your firm last year and you said my business plan was cute?" The door opened again. This time it was James Wong, one of the biggest tech venture capitalists at the wedding. "Sophia," he beamed. "I've been trying to reach you for months about Neurotech. Your AI breakthroughs are revolutionary." Victoria's face contorted. James was supposed to be discussing investing in her husband's company. "James," I nodded. "Your assistant kept scheduling meetings with my supervisor. I assume you'll take my calls personally now." He had the grace to look embarrassed. "About that, perhaps we could discuss over dinner?" "Unfortunately, I'm headed to a board meeting," I replied. "But you have my team's number." Victoria's perfectly crafted wedding was unraveling. Half her guests were now trying to network with her kitchen-seated sister instead of celebrating her marriage. "This is a nightmare," she whispered. "Everyone was supposed to be focusing on my success, my connections." "Funny how things work out," I said, opening my silver briefcase. Inside lay the neural interface prototype that had just revolutionized the tech industry. "Would you like to see what a little startup looks like?" The sleek device gleamed under the lounge lights. Brad's eyes widened. He'd been desperately trying to develop something similar. That's the Neurotech prototype?" he stammered. "The one that can translate thoughts into digital commands?" "Among other things," I said. "Would you like a demonstration?" Without waiting for an answer, I lifted the device. The lounge's smart systems immediately responded, lights adjusting, screens activating, displaying complex neural patterns. "By God," James whispered. "It works without any external controllers?" "Pure thought-based interface," I confirmed. "This is what your firm called unrealistic last year, Brad. When you declined my meeting request because what was it? Some ideas are too ambitious for small players." Brad's face went pale. He'd rejected a chance to invest in what just became a multi-billion-dollar technology. Mom found her voice. "Sophia, darling, we never meant to. We always believed in you." "Really?" I pulled up an email on the lounge's main screen. "Like this email from last month? Stop embarrassing the family with your tech fantasies and get a real job like Victoria?" The email hung there, damning evidence of their dismissal. My phone buzzed again. "Cars ready for the MaxTech meeting, Ms. Martinez." I closed the briefcase. Well, this has been enlightening, but some of us have actual billion-dollar companies to run. Wait. Victoria grabbed my arm. You can't just leave. Half my wedding guests are asking about you. My contacts, my investors. Your investors? I gently removed her hand. No, Victoria. They were never your investors. They were always mine. They just didn't know it yet. I headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Brad? That meeting you wanted with MaxTech? As their new board member, I could arrange it. But some ideas are too ambitious for small players. The look on his face was worth every holiday dinner I'd endured being called a failure. As the elevator doors closed, I heard Victoria's anguished cry. She's ruined everything. But I hadn't ruined anything. I'd simply succeeded, spectacularly, undeniably succeeded. And part 3 would show them exactly what that success meant for our family's dynamic. My phone lit up with another message. MaxTech board waiting. Time to show them the next phase. I smiled, thinking of the even bigger announcements to come. Yes, I typed back. Time to show them everything. The elevator descended, carrying me toward my future while leaving my family's carefully constructed illusions shattered above. The next morning's headlines were deliciously ironic. Tech's new queen, bride's kitchen-seated sister revealed AS billion-dollar seat. The Wall Street Journal ran a photo of me leaving the wedding, juxtaposed with Neuroteca's soaring stock chart. I sat in MaxTech's executive boardroom, 40 stories above the city, reviewing the final integration plans. The neural interface prototype sat on the table before the most powerful tech executives in the world. Ms. Martinez, my assistant, called through the intercom. Your family is in the lobby. All of them. I checked my reflection in the window. Power suit, perfect makeup, not a hint of the little sister they once dismissed. Send them up. They arrived looking like they hadn't slept, Victoria still in yesterday's makeup, Brad clutching industry reports about the acquisition, Mom and Dad trying to maintain their dignity. Please sit, I gestured to the leather chairs. I assume this isn't a social call. Social call. Victoria's laugh was brittle. My wedding is trending on Twitter. #KitchenShow is viral. Everyone's talking about how we seated a tech billionaire in the kitchen. Unfortunate, I said calmly. Though I found the kitchen staff quite welcoming. Unlike family. Sophia, Dad leaned forward. Let's discuss this rationally. The publicity, the timing. Surely we can spin this positively for everyone. Spin it. I raised an eyebrow. Like how you've spun my career choices for the past 5 years. Poor Sophia, still playing with her computers. Mom dabbed at her eyes. We didn't know. No, I cut in. You didn't ask. You assumed. You judged. You dismissed. Brad cleared his throat. About that meeting with MaxTech. Already discussed you with the board, I said. They weren't interested. Something about derivative technology and lack of innovation. His face crumpled. His entire business strategy had hinged on that meeting. You're destroying our family. Victoria burst out. My contacts won't return calls. My investment banking clients all want meetings with you instead. I stood walking to the window. The Neurotech building gleamed in the morning sun. Funny thing about success, I said. It reveals people's true nature. When I was failing, you had no time for me. Now. The boardroom door opened. James Wong entered with several other venture capitalists from the wedding. Sophia. Ready for the neural tech presentation. He stopped seeing my family. Oh, awkward. Not at all, I smiled. My family was just leaving. Though Victoria, you might want to stay. This affects your job. He stiffened. What do you mean? I pulled up a presentation on the boardroom screen. Neuroteca's next phase includes integrating with major investment banks. Starting with yours. The color drained from her face. You bought my bank? No, I corrected. I bought your entire banking group. As of this morning, I'm your boss's boss's boss. Mom gasped. Dad dropped his phone. Brad looked ready to faint. That's not possible, Victoria whispered. I turned to the venture capitalists. Gentlemen, shall we begin? I believe you'll find our neural banking interface revolutionary. They eagerly took their seats, completely ignoring my family. A perfect mirror of last night's wedding. Sophia, Dad tried one last time. We're family. Surely we can work something out. Your mother and we've always wanted the best for you. I picked up the neural interface prototype. The best? See. You called my work worthless. Seated me with servants. Told potential investors to avoid my fantasy company. I activated the device and the room's screens filled with their emails, their dismissive comments, their years of derision. But you were right about one thing, I continued. Family is important. So here's what happens now. I handed Victoria a folder. Your new contract. You'll head our banking integration team, if you can handle reporting to your embarrassing little sister. Another folder for Brad. Your company's patents are interesting if unfinished. Neurotech will buy them at market rate. No special treatment. Finally, I turned to my parents. The real estate firm's struggling, isn't it, Dad? Those downtown properties you can't lease? I'm buying the company. Market rate like Brad's. Take it or leave it. They stared at the contracts, reality sinking in. You. Mom's voice shook. You planned this all along? No, I said softly. You taught me this. Every dismissal, every insult, every holiday dinner where I wasn't good enough. You taught me to build something so big you couldn't ignore it. Victoria picked up her contract, hands trembling. And if we refuse? Then leave. There's the door. But remember, in this city, in this industry, I'm no longer your embarrassing little sister. I'm Sophia Martinez, the one who revolutionized neural tech while you were busy looking down on me. James Wong cleared his throat. Sophia, about the presentation. I nodded. Of course. Family meetings over. They stood slowly, decades of family dynamics crumbling around them. At the door, Victoria paused. That neural interface, she said quietly, it really is brilliant. I know, I replied. I tried to tell you that last Christmas. As they left, I turned to the waiting venture capitalists. Gentlemen, let's discuss the future. Because that's what I'd built. Not just a company, but a future where success spoke louder than family name, where innovation outweighed tradition, and where the sister they seated in the kitchen now owned the entire restaurant. And that was the sweetest victory of all.